without further ado, I'm going to give you 10 of the best positions to put in your 401k plan. Just a separate portfolio. And you make this your self-initiated 401k plan. And you're going to get paid no matter what happens to the economy, no matter who's in the White House, no matter what's happening with regards to the markets, bull, bear, you won't have to care. Pay close attention. First position you want to consider is NVDA Corporation, symbol NVDA. Now, this is an aggressive position to put into your 401k plan, okay? But it should be your front runner, okay? Now, year to date, NVDA, their shares are up 97%, okay? And this particular position, this company will still be relevant 20 or 30 years from now because it is providing the core technology for something known as the Internet of Things and something that is already out but the masses don't know about called the edge. The edge. Mig Whitman was talking about this a couple of days ago on Bloomberg, the edge. I don't have time to go into it now, but I'm telling you, NVDA, symbol NVDA, is already all over this, providing the underlying technology for these things, providing the underlying technology for blockchain, which is pushing all of these cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin and Ethereum and Litecoin and the like. Now, I can only think of a few retirement stocks that yours truly has absolute confidence in that will still be around and probably stronger than they are today, 20 years from now. Furthermore, NVDA is a double whammy. Listen to me. Currently, it runs a robust business selling top-of-the-line GPUs. Now, whether we're talking about gaming or the blockchain, demand for high-end GPUs will likely only increase. And NVDA has rock-solid management. You see, this particular company is the world's high-performance computer solutions company. And its list of clientele is nothing but blue-chip stocks, big boys. And that list will continue to grow. As cloud computers and cloud computing and the data centers that support all of these multi-billion-dollar industries continue to grow around the world and the world becomes more interconnected, buying through the Internet of Things, NVDA will lead the way. Next company that will get you P.A.I.D. from now and well into the foreseeable future is Amazon. Talking about formulating your own 401k plan. Symbol AMZN. Now, Amazon shares are up 60% year to date. And since the close of October 26th of this year, 2007, it has gained 22% on paper. Family. That's why Jeff Bezos is pushing to become the world's wealthiest person. Family members. E-commerce is eating the lunch of retail brick and mortar businesses. And family members. Decades from now, e-commerce will at least be a quarter of all total retail. But the actual figure could be even higher. It wouldn't surprise yours truly if online retail surpasses the traditional brick and mortar platform. And that bodes very, very well for Amazon, symbol AMZN. And to its credit, Amazon isn't waiting for the disruption to happen. It made an insanely aggressive move acquiring Whole Foods market. It wants to get into what you eat as well. And that won't be the last very intelligent acquisition that Amazon makes. Eventually, Amazon, symbol AMZN, will get its hands on virtually anything you, me, we, the Ask the Wiz Wealth Institute family, and you listeners alike buy. Yeah. If your 401k plan at your company doesn't have Amazon, and I'm sure it doesn't, in the portfolio? You need to think about formulating your own portfolio. Next, AT&T, symbol T. Now everyone knows that the best stocks for your 401k plan won't always be the sexiest names. While capital growth is certainly important, it's absolutely critical that you don't absorb too many body blows in your portfolio. As we've seen in prior market cycles, years of hard-earned profits could disappear in a flash. 2007, 2008. You see, slow and steady wins marathons, which is why AT&T, symbol T, has to be included into your self-initiated portfolio. Talking about that 401k plan. Now, AT&T has extraordinarily positive fundamentals. Its vast communications networks, its advances in 5G wireless technology, which Verizon is already about to launch, AT&T already has a technology too. And since Verizon has announced that they're about to launch, what do you think AT&T is going to do? And AT&T pays a generous dividend. Okay? Now, you want to stay in front. You think that cell phone usage and smartphone usage is going to decrease? Handheld mobile device usage is going to decrease? No, I don't think so either. AT&T, symbol T. Next position you need to consider is a company called HCP Inc., symbol HCP. Okay? Now, this is how we going to get P.A.I.D. from the millennial generation. You see, demographic analysis and seemingly all of society are focused on the millennial generation, and for good reason. In 2015, millennials surpassed Generation X as the single largest demographic in the American workplace. And not surprisingly, business media outlets frequently ran stories on how best to deal with millennials on the job. And even bigger milestones was reached in the following year when millennials became America's largest living generation. Listen to me. That only served to ramp up marketing strategies aimed specifically at getting the young to open up their wallets and spend their money. But amid all this noise, a more powerful opportunity was opening up. You see, family, contrary to what millennials might think, old people don't just drift away into some magical land. No, somebody has to take care of them old folks. And an increasing number of families are choosing senior living facilities. This is where HCP Inc., symbol HCP, comes into play. You see, HCP is a self-administrated real estate investment trust focusing on the healthcare industry. And within its vast portfolio are assisted living facilities and other services aimed at the retirement community. And while it may seem contradictory for young investors to consider HCP stock, no, it's one of the best stocks for your self-initiated 401k plan because of one inevitability. Barring a tragic event, guess what? You will get old too, and we all are going to get old. That's the goal, isn't it? That's not something that millennials will want to hear, but at least if you hear it and you listen to me, you can get P.A.I.D. from it. HCP, monetizing the care of the aging population. Next position, sad to say, but this world, with the geopolitical politics, it is what it is. Boeing, symbol BA, a defense position. Now, while President Trump, His Royal Highness, is hard at work for the rest of the country, supposedly, he can at least boast that he is making Boeing, symbol BA, great again. Soon after winning the election, Trump called for the cancellation of a new Air Force One deal. And on social media, the president-elect at the time blasted the soaring costs necessary to replace the current Air Force One. And at that point, naturally, Boeing shareholders were worried. However, also, we all learned by now, this was yet another example of Trump being Trump. You see, the current administration pro-America and pro-business message resonated strongly with Boeing. And on a year-to-date basis, Boeing stock symbol BA is up over 70%, and it has paid us in the Ask the Wiz Wealth Institute family handsomely. Boeing is enjoying one of the best years in recent memory. And furthermore, nothing in the technical chart suggests that this rally will end anytime soon. But the reason why yours truly thinks that Boeing is one of the best positions for your self-initiated 401k is its business diversity. As you know, Boeing has significant exposure to both civilian and military revenue sources. But what I really like is Boeing's innovation towards unmanned aerial vehicles called UAVs. That's unmanned aerial vehicles called UAVs. Let me break it down for you. You see, Boeing developed a number of unmanned assets, such as the Phantom Eye and the Inst-2 Eagle. The Inst-2 Eagle. Now, UAVs are the future of warfare, and we're already seeing this trend increase. For a variety of reasons, the U.S. Air Force has a pilot shortage crisis, but part of it has to be demand. As technology improves, you see, fewer reasons will be available to send humans in harm's way. That might stink for the art of the dog-fighting pilot. Nevertheless, profits from this trend by picking up BA stock for the long haul are there for the taking. Now, while His Royal Highness Donald Trump is hard at work, okay, we need to focus on the ongoing drama that's going on between the United States and Iran, the United States and North Korea, the recent launch of the ICBM that North Korea instituted, and they said it could hit the U.S. mainland. And what did His Royal Highness respond back with? A statement, and I quote, "We will handle it," end quote. Geopolitical politics will cause Boeing, symbol BA, to continue to rise in value. And the next defense position that will continue to rise in the long-term future is Raytheon Corporation, symbol RTN, talking about positions that will get you P.A.I.D. in your self-initiated 401k plan. In keeping with the military theme, a big top idea amongst retirement stocks is Raytheon Company, symbol RTN, one of our defense positions. For any long-haul investment strategy, the defense sector is a no-brainer. We only have two guarantees in life: death, and if you live in the United States, taxes. But as an American, we have a third inevitability. Somewhere, at some point in time, we're going to blow the smithereens out of some other country for whatever reason they come up with. But taking such a stark stance would mean companies like Lockheed Martin, symbol LMT, Northrop Grumman Corporation, symbol NOC, would enjoy robust gains. Okay? They will, as well as Raytheon, symbol RTN. Now, currently, military experts are debating whether aircraft carriers are obsolete. Listen to me. A future conflict against a near-peer foe would make aircraft carriers woefully vulnerable to precision-guided missile strikes. In other words, modern warfare is economically asymmetric. A $1 million missile could destroy a $1 billion asset. And as I previously mentioned, UAVs are the wave of the future. Indeed, warfare is becoming far less personal. When we get into another war, we are almost guaranteed to use our guided missiles first before troops, if ever, are put on the ground. Yes, this macabre certainty means defense positions, which will include BA and RTN stock, is a must-have for your retirement self-initiated 401k plan. The next position is Barrick Gold, symbol ABX. Notice what I'm doing. All of these are positions that will be viable 10, 20, 30 years from now. Now we're getting into the commodities. Gold. Bitcoin, got it. Cryptocurrencies, got it. But let me tell you something. That shiny yellow metal is always going to resonate with value to the human being. Now, since the commodities bubble burst in 2011, gold and silver investments have stunk up the markets. Some of the precious metals woes have to do with the fact that the feared hyperinflation never came. Complete and utter societal collapse never occurred. Worst of all, okay? People are starting now to get very, very comfortable with regards to their portfolios. But Barrick Gold, symbol ABX, is one of the best gold-related positions to have in your self-initiated portfolio. You see, gold bullion's long-term use as a store of value and as a safe haven asset will always be there. Okay? Now, aside from the doom and gloom fear that people seem to harbor from time to time, gold and other rare metals have tremendous utility. Many of the technologies that we enjoy every day would not work without precious metals. And while analysts often love to bash gold and gold miners like ABX, rare commodities are also important. And moreover, the metals complex has been undervalued for years now. And based on historic trends, we are right to expect another rally. Now, fortunately, when it comes to 401k plans, okay, to have a position in a company like ABX is an excellent, excellent thing to do. Okay? Now, you must see now what others see eventually, and you must plan for a market downturn while the market is rising. ABX in your self-funded 401k plan. Next position I want to give you is a no-brainer. You got to have you some Microsoft, symbol MSFT. Microsoft, symbol MSFT. Microsoft has a superb management team. A team that demonstrates a willingness to stir things up. No rocking the boat isn't what you typically want to do for your retirement. Yet if you want to make solid gains, you have to take calculated, manageable risk. Microsoft, symbol MSFT, is that. Now, Microsoft's agility and its moxie to pull the trigger on deals outside its comfort zone is what institutional investors love. So, this is indeed the mentality that you need to have for the 21st century business. And Microsoft, symbol MSFT, has it in spades. Microsoft is in everything from the it's not just a software company, it's into the Internet of Things, cybersecurity, the edge, you name it. Microsoft, MSFT, will still be a very relevant company 10, 20, 30 years from now. And this next company is a company that is just simply too big to fail. You better remember what happened in the last recession. This company received a bailout and was one of the first companies to receive a bailout. We're talking about General Motors Company, symbol GM. Now, picking an automobile company is a little bit awkward at this juncture. Okay? But General Motors, they see the horizon and they're preparing for it. With autonomous vehicles and self-driving vehicles, that research going full blast as I speak. Now, plenty of stuff can happen over the next 20 to 30 years, okay? For instance, immediately following World War II, American cars were the gold standard. But as events like the Vietnam War skyrocketed gas prices, Japanese cars, which feature smaller chassis and more fuel-efficient engines, forged their way into the American consciousness. And today, the Japanese advantage is far less pronounced, however. Domestic auto manufacturing finally caught on to the macro trends, and they have achieved substantive successes. More importantly, the automotive sector is rapidly shifting towards electric vehicles and driverless technology. Now, in this case, GM has a significant advantage as arguably the best semiconductor firms are located right here in the United States. You can best rest assured that General Motors, symbol GM, will be around the next 10, 20, and 30 years in some way, shape, or form, providing transportation in some way, shape, or form for the public and the consumer. Next position I want to give you is the last position. Now, this particular position is one that you may have to mull over a little bit, but listen to me first. Electronic Arts, symbol EA. Electronic Arts, symbol EA. Now, beloved and listeners, you see, consumer electronics trends are difficult to predict. When I was younger, I always assumed that the 3.5-inch floppy disk would be a computing mainstay. Then at some point, the floppy disk slots disappeared. Today, even the CD, DVD drive is falling out of favor as more people rely on streaming services and flash memory cards. Still, one consumer trend that I'm confident will be around decades from now is video and computer games. You see, gaming used to be the exclusive abode for tech geeks and nerds. That is no longer the case. The entire sector has so rapidly altered the paradigm that video gaming could one day become an Olympic sport. Hence, yours truly thinks that Electronic Arts, symbol EA, has extraordinary long-term potential, irrespective of its already massive achievements and accolades. EA, Electronic Arts, symbol EA, is one of the few companies that carefully analyzes its market and responds accordingly. EA comes from humble beginnings. The gaming firm established lucrative professional sports deals, and now all they have to do is to improve upon prior platforms to rake in continued serious revenues. Indeed, the sports endorsements are huge for EA. Aside from the Madden NFL series, some of their other sporting titles aren't great, perhaps even mediocre. None of it matters, because EA owns the rights, so it gets to make the rules. It's a vicious business strategy, but as a retirement position, a retirement stock put into your self-initiated 401k plan, you should have this particular position as a consideration in that 401k plan.